Hello friends, welcome to my channel. In today's session, we're going to cover optional class in Java 8. In our previous sessions, we have covered few Java 8 features with working session. So in this session, we'll talk about optional class. So without wasting time, let's get started. First, what is optional class? Every Java programmer is familiar with null pointer exception. It can crash your code and it is very hard to avoid it without using too many null checks. So to overcome this, Java 8 has introduced a new class option in Java8 package. It can help in writing a neat code without using too many null checks. By using optional, we can specify alternate values to return or alternate code to run. This makes the code more readable because the facts which were hidden are now visible to the developer. Optional is a container of object which may not contain a non-null value. You must import Java tool package to use this class. If a value is present, each present method will return true and get will return the value. Additional methods that depends on the presence of absence of a contained value are provided, such as or else method, which returns a default value if the value is not present, and if present method, which execute a block of code if the value is present. Okay, friends, I hope these 2 points are clear. So let's see. There is some value-based class. Their instance are like final and immutable. So optional is a class and it's marked as final. So basically it's an immutable class. And consider equal solely based on equals method, not based on reference equality. And do not have accessible constructors. So these 3 points in the working session, I will give you more explanation. For now, we'll just go to the methods which supports in the optional class. Let's go to the next slide. So in optional class, we have two categories. One is static methods and instant methods. So the static methods you can directly access with the help of optional class name, but instance method you need to create optional instant, then only it's accessible, right? So now let's see what are the methods in the static. So empty, off, and off, nullable. So empty basically, if the value is not present, then it just empty method, it returns the empty optional instance. It not returns any value. And off value, which the type we are passing, the returns are optional with the specified present non-null value. So make sure if you are passing any null value in this off method, then this will throw an error. Sorry, exception. And off null level, if you think the value may be null, that scenario you should go with off null level. So returns an optional describing the specified value if non-null, otherwise returns an empty optional object. I guess hope you guys understood. We have these three static methods in optional class, right? Let's go to the instance method. So in instance method, we have this many methods like equals, filter, flat map, get, hashcode, if presence, is presence, map, or else get, or else throw, toString. So now let's go one by one. What is equals? Equals all we know. It's a condition check whether both the values, like two different optional objects, are same. So just it will perform the equal to operation. And filter, again we saw in one of the functional interface what filter does. It accepts the predicate as an input argument, and based on the predicate it provides the value. Whether if the predicate matches, I mean returns true, then your value will be passed. So if a value is present and then the value matches the given predicate, returns an optional describing the value. Otherwise, returns the empty optional. Understood, guys? If my condition is false, then you expect the empty optional. If this condition is true, then you will get the value that you are expecting. And the next one, flat map. Flat map accepts argument of function interface. Okay. And if a value is present, apply provided optional varying mapping function to it and returns the result. Otherwise, return an empty. Okay, this I can explain you in the demo. Let's now, for now, go with the definition. And get. So get, if a value is present in this optional, returns the value. Otherwise, throw a no such a element exception. So say example, I'm pausing some integer. If that integer is present in the optional, that is fine. You can get the value. If the given integer is not a value or something null, then you will get no such a element exception. And hash code, basically it is implemented in the object level. So it returns the integer value, returns the hash code value of the present value, if any, or zero if no value is present. If presence accepts one argument like consumer argument. If the value is present, invokes a specific consumer with the value, otherwise do nothing. Is present, it returns a boolean value, returns a true if the value is present, otherwise return false. Just make one condition whether my value is present or not. And map. Map basically we use to change the value, right? So map is a value. If a value is present, apply the provided map function to it. And if the result is non-nullable, return an optional describing the result. You're getting this optional expression. Sorry, the function method accepts the map method accept the function argument, right? Function interface. And if the mapping function is to it, and if the value is non-nullable, then returns an optional describing the result. Or else. The or else basically we used to return some default. If there is no value matched or present, sorry, not matched, it's not present in the optional, then we return some default value to the option. That's what here the value, return the value if the present, otherwise returns the other. So the next one, or else get. So or else get accepts the argument of supplier. The supplier already we discussed in our earlier videos. If if anyone is need to watch, please go and watch the video. And this one returns the value if presents, otherwise invoke other and return the result of that invocation. And the other one, or else throw. This also accepts the supplier argument and returns the contained value. If presents, otherwise throw an exception to be created by provided supplier. Basically, it's throw an exception. If some the value is not fine, just we invoke some supplier and throw some error. And toString, this is overridden from the object class. So returns a non-empty string represent of this optional sustainable for debugging. Okay guys, so these are the methods in the instance method list. Okay, so let's see one quick simple example how this works. So the one in left hand side is a traditional coding, like we don't have any null check, we directly trying to access one of the array index and to try to convert that string to lowercase. In this scenario, just think over it. I don't have any value assigned for given array list. All the array are empty. Sorry, it's not empty, it's null. By default, it's null. So when I try to do the second line of execution, words of 5, fifth index to array, the fifth index obviously it's null. If you try to do perform to a lower array, lower case, then this will fail and it will throw an error, null pointer error. Okay, guys. The right side is a little modified, like using optional. How we can achieve this? How we can make this code work perfectly? So we have this string array and introduced optional and the type of the value and optional of nullable. So basically, we're not sure whether my value is has value or null. So that scenario, just prefer to use of nullable so that this will not throw any error. It will return check null. So this using this check null, you can check whether the value is present or not. If value is present, then it will return true. And if it is true, then you can go ahead and do the conversion like to lowercase. Or else just print word is empty. Sorry, word is null. Right guys? This is very simple code where we can just understand how this works. Now let me go to IDE and see how we can. Let me bring the IDE. Okay, this already I've given one simple block of code where I've had a few cases. Okay, so I have created one optional demo class. In this, I've created two variable, value one, value two. Value one is null, and value two is created an object of string and given the value 10. So like say I try to convert this to optional integer. So optional dot, I need to use the static method of nullable, and I don't know whether my value one is nullable or it has value. So better to use of nullable method. So that case it will not throw any error and it creates the object. Some other case, if I know, make sure I have value, so we can go ahead with of method. So now there is a sum method that it is going to adding these two integer values and return as a result. Okay, guys. Now, so I'm calling this. So in this line number 28, what I'm trying to, so before that, just see if the value is present and value A is present or value B is present. So basically this method will check whether my value is present or not. It's basically returns a Boolean value. If the value is present, it returns true. If value is not present, then it returns false. So guys, you understood this too, and it returns. Okay, guys. So we know what is this the function does, right? It just returns whether the value is present. It returns true or else false. And line number 28, if my value A is not present, okay, or else assign this default value. So let's say some scenario, if the value is not present, we need to fill that area with some default value, right? If my value is null, I need to consider that wherever the null value is fine, we need to fill with 0. So that is the case. Just have this or else method and provide the default value to this. So what happens? Now my integer will be 0. Integer value 1 will be 0. So that my addition will not fail. Otherwise, null plus the other value, it will throw an error, right? And here, the filter, just to perform value b, filter, the value um, is divisible modulo 2 equal to 0. Basically, I'm checking whether it's a even number. That it will display this 2. And if b is if present, so there is two different present method in the optional class. One is present, one is if present. Is present already we saw, it's a boolean return type, and is present basically it's a kind of void. What it does, it will take the value and perform another execution set of code, like if this is present then do this, or else do nothing. Okay. And now the final, just get the value of b and do the addition and return value of this 2. Okay, so what is expected here? So we have this a comma b, or we know a is always like null. That null will be our setting 0 as a default value. Then 0 plus 10, the final output will be 10. Let's execute this code and check the output. Okay guys, here we see the present is false because there is no value. It's the a object has, and b has to true, and 10, that is like this one filtered. If it is a even number, just I'm printing the value, and then if b is present value, then try to print it in some code, like value is presented added to the log 10, and finally this 2 will be added and printed at this point. Okay guys, so this is how this optional will work. And for more code, we'll try to make one another working session to go through all the methods. For today's session, so this is what I planned, and yeah, so I hope this video has helped. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Thank you.